Stars, spells, and secrets. The enchanted bridge between astrology and magic. Do you believe the stars know your name? Whispered the old woman, her silver eyes glimmering beneath the smoke of sandalwood.
The boy looked up, eyes wide. Do they really? They've known it since before you were born, she said, her wrinkled fingers tracing the curve of his palm. And magic, that is just the art of listening to them. Once upon a time, not in fairy tales but in the dusty corners of ancient observatories, human beings lifted their eyes to the sky. Not for science, not for weather, but for meaning. In a world that seemed both marvelous and terrifying, where lightning split trees and love could lift or break the soul, they sought patterns. Patterns not just in the stars, but in themselves. Thus was born astrology. And from astrology, like a younger sister draped in mystery, came magic. But what is magic? What is astrology? And why do they seem like two reflections of the same glowing moon? To understand this, one must journey through time, through temples and towers, across cultures and civilizations, and into the deepest recesses of the human mind, where hope and belief dance like candle flames in the dark.
The language of the sky. The stars do not speak.
And yet, somehow, they do. Thousands of years ago, long before clocks and compasses, the sky was the only map. From Mesopotamia to the Nile, from the Aztecs to the Chinese emperors, the heavens were both calendar and scripture. People watched the rising of Sirius to mark the floods, charted Venus to bless their crops, and read eclipses like warnings from the gods. Astrology was never about fortune-telling. It was a language, a vocabulary of the cosmos. Planets became messengers, constellations formed sentences. And like any language, it had rules, houses, signs, aspects. But this wasn't just about predicting the future. It was about understanding the present. When Mars sits in Aries, said the priest in a sun-drenched ziggurat, men will burn with war. But when the moon grows full in Cancer, mothers shall dream of their sons. To modern ears, this may sound poetic. But for the ancients, this was reality. The stars were clocks, and each tick foretold a mood, an event, a fate.
The birth of magic.
Where astrology mapped the sky, magic tried to move it. Magic, in its truest form, is not about tricks or illusions. It is the idea that reality is not fixed, that the world can be shaped by will, by ritual, by knowledge of hidden things. In Babylon, where the first horoscopes were etched onto clay, astrologers were also magicians. They were called Baru, the seers. They watched the sky not just to report, but to respond. A bad omen could be met with a ritual. An eclipse could be softened by prayer, incense, or even substitution. In Egypt, the priests of Thoth and Isis used both star maps and spells. In India, the Vedic astrologers chanted mantras alongside casting charts. The connection was seamless. To know the stars was to know the rules of the game. To practice magic was to learn how to play it. Magic was the art of influence. Astrology was the science of timing. One showed what was, the other suggested what could be.
The sacred twins.
Astrology and magic walk hand in hand, like twin sisters in long, flowing robes.
Think of a love spell.
It doesn't simply ask the universe to bring someone close. It often waits for Venus to rise, for the moon to wax. A protection charm might be carved during a Saturn hour under a Scorpio sky. Every magical act, from the brewing of potions to the drawing of sigils, pays attention to timing. And timing, in the ancient world, came from astrology. The spell must be cast when Mercury is direct, the witch mutters, tying knots in a red cord. Otherwise, your words will be lost. Astrology provides the stage. Magic the script. Medieval alchemy and the Hermetic flame. Fast forward to the Middle Ages. Magic was no longer a village whisper. It had become an academic pursuit. In the dusty libraries of Islamic Spain and Christian monasteries, scholars translated the ancient texts of Hermes Trismegistus, Plato, and Ptolemy. Alchemy was born, a blend of science, spirituality, astrology, and magic. The alchemist did not simply try to turn lead into gold. He tried to turn man into God. As above, so below, they whispered, inscribing the Hermetic motto into the margins of their books. To change the self, they believed, one must first know the stars. This wasn't mere superstition. Paracelsus, the father of modern toxicology, used planetary correspondences to prescribe herbs. He believed that each body part resonated with a planet. The heart with the sun, the bones with Saturn, the blood with Mars.
Healing was magic.
Magic was medicine. Medicine was astrology.
The fall and the rebirth.
Then came the Enlightenment. Telescopes replaced temples.
Newton replaced Neptune.
Astrology was cast out of science, and magic into the shadows. But even as the world embraced reason, something deep inside humanity refused to forget. In the 19th century, occult orders like the Golden Dawn revived the old ways. Their rituals, rich with starry timing, echoed the ancient chants. In a candlelit room in London, a magician might say,
Jupiter trines the Santo Night. Wealth flows from the east. Speak your desire, and let the wind carry it.
Astrology and magic, reborn in velvet and incense, had returned. Today, the revival continues. Birth charts are back. Spells are trending.
Tarot decks sell by the millions.
And beneath it all lies the same ancient idea.
The universe speaks.
And if you learn its language, you can answer back.
Logic in the light.
But is it real? Skeptics scoff. They point to physics, to statistics, to the randomness of life. And they have a point. But perhaps they misunderstand the purpose. A child looks at the sky and sees a lion, a scorpion, a maiden. That is not astronomy. That is meaning-making.
Humans need stories.
Astrology and magic are not about proving. They are about participating.
You don't believe a lullaby else a baby, but you sing it anyway.
You don't expect a birthday candle to change your life, but you make a wish. Magic and astrology are the lullabies of the soul. They are ways to bring intention, awareness, and wonder into the everyday. A new dawn. Today, science and mysticism are beginning to converse again.
Quantum physics whispers of strange entanglements.
Neuroscience reveals the power of belief. Psychology studies synchronicity and archetypes. The rigid walls between the magical and the rational are softening. And perhaps that is the final secret. Not that astrology is a science, or that magic can be measured, but that both are ways of seeing. Ways of relating. When a person lights a candle on a full moon and whispers a hope, they are not escaping reality. They are embracing it. Deeply, deliberately, beautifully. And when a child asks, "Do the stars know my name?" the answer is not found in data. The answer is found in wonder.
Epilogue, the final spell. Under a violet sky, the old woman stands alone.
Her eyes are still silver. In her hand, a chart of stars. In her pocket, a tiny pouch of herbs. She looks up. As above, she whispers, so below.
And somewhere, in the dark, something shifts. Not in the stars,
but in the heart of the one who dares to believe.
Join the Curiousphere, where stars speak and magic listens.
The stars have always whispered, but have you ever truly listened? If this journey stirred something ancient in you, a question, a flicker, a memory you never knew you carried, then it's time to step deeper into the mystery. Subscribe to Curiousphere on YouTube. Explore the real stories behind astrology, ancient magic, hidden symbols, and forgotten wisdom. Follow weekly deep dives into the mystical and the logical, brought together like never before. Speech balloons share your thoughts, dreams, and doubts in the comments. You're not alone on this path. Because the stars may not control you, but they just might be calling you. Will you answer?
Hit the bell. Watch the Curiousphere Stati Uniti.
Become part of the Curiousphere. As above, so below. As within, so without.
As on YouTube, so in your soul.